Hey, what's going on, guys? Ace and McMillian here, back for another episode of the Gurren Otaku Council. And this week we'll be discussing Suletta Mercury. Is she winning or is she not? We'll find out here on episode 48. And as always, guys, if you want to stay up to date about the council, everything about the council, please follow us on our social media. With that being said, council's now in session. Let the meeting begin. Ace, my friend, how's it going?
Going good. You was going a little bit fast there, but it's all right, everybody. We let McMillian do the intro because this is the Suletta Mercury episode that he's just said here. But of course, before we get into all that, we're gonna go ahead and get us started off with some council announcements, and we do want to let everybody know that our that time I got reincarnated as a Slime Scarlet Bond movie review is now live, of course, on your favorite audio only platforms as well as YouTube as well. So be sure to make sure to check that out. I do want to let you guys know if you did pay to see that in a movie, I'm sorry for your loss. It was a waste of money in my opinion, but our review is up now, so go check it out. We also just wanted to let you guys know that there will be no anime news this week. There was really wasn't much going on in terms of anime news this week, so so just no anime news this week. But with all that being said, we're gonna hop straight into today's review, where we're going to be discussing the first half of the Gundam Witch from Mercury season 2. Mm-hmm. That should be in Crunchyroll is listed under season 1, but if I'm not mistaken, I did the research. This is season 2 though. This isn't the second core. This is season 2 of Gundam. Yeah, but in Crunchyroll is listed as it starts with episode 13. So we're going to be discussing episode 13 through 17. And I'm going to hand it over to you, McMillian. So McMillian, why don't you go ahead and tell us now, is Suletta Mercury indeed winning?
As of the latest episode, at the time of this recording, no, she is not. I dare say she is taking L's. It was a little bit touch and go there for a second. I was like, okay, she still kind of, it seemed nice. It seemed good. There's a lot of shady shit going on in the background, but she still seemed okay. Not anymore. Not after today.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, no, she's not winning. Maybe just a little bit, but she's definitely not as winning as much as from the last time we discussed our girl Suletta here. She's down. I wouldn't say down bad, but what I know is she might be down. I was about to say we don't
really get to see the results of how down bad it could be, but it seems pretty bad.
So with the start of season 2 here, they actually came right out the gate, and they came right out the gate swinging. They did not play. So at the beginning of season 2, the Earthians kept the conflict going. So at the end of season 2, we saw the Earthians attack. I can't remember the name of the outpost, but they attacked one of the outposts where President Dylan was at the time. And long story short, he's in a coma now. Suletta ended up killing someone, and that kind of messed up their relationship between Miran and Suletta. But we pick up season 2 where the attackers from that attack, they are now enrolled into the school.
Yep, cause all type of havoc.
Episode 1, this is how they doing it. The attackers, or the terrorists rather, if you will, they enrolled into the school now, and the pace was very fast. It went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yes.
They had a mock battle royale that they normally do every year during this school festival, and it turned into a shit show really, really fast.
Yeah, but so much so that like students that weren't even like directly in the conflict ended up getting extremely hurt or died, like causing all types of problems for Suletta's little group of people as Spatians. And it's just, as we continue throughout the season, we even get to see like what the conflict like is on Earth and how that directly is affecting like the little Earth group. It's just shit's just going sideways for everybody, honestly.
It really is. And then we also got another plot twist already at the beginning of the season. So how do you feel about, well, we know she's working with her. We got that at the end of the season, but we got more confirmation that Nika was working with the Earthians terrorist group. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think I like how they expanded on it, because at first it was like, I don't know exactly what this means for this character, only because like at the time the Spatian and Earth conflict didn't seem as bad. Like it was like, oh, they treat people born on Earth as if they're lesser because they're like poor or whatever. Because it's like, hey, you ain't got enough money to get off this space rock, boo hoo, like you suck or something like that. That's how they kind of addressed it. And then as we see like how Shadiq and everything was working with Nika and all these other people, we see like it's actually it's a lot more layered than just like I don't like that you're you're lower class, so I hate you. It seems like there's actually like the decisions of these groups are having direct effect on their lives, and that they are trying to it's like they're trying to escape the oppressive nature in which they've been put under by the spaceships. And Nika is like that character that has like a pipe dream of like, we can all be friends, we can do it. We can do it. You don't gotta kill people. And everybody else is like, girl, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up. Like it is deeper than what you think it is. And
unfortunately, yes, it is a lot deeper than that. So they've been, going through this struggle. Not only in this show, in every Gundam show, there's always been a struggle between the Spatians and Earthians, as they call it. But I guess they had different names in the different shows.
I was about to say it's a little bit different depending on like each series. Like, in a certain Gundam shows, it's like, oh, these people inhabit this planet, and like they specifically hate people from Mars for XYZ reason, or they hate people from like this planet for list a whole reason. So it's like it's kind of like that. But this one, I would make Witch of Mercury, I feel like, stand out so much or stuff like that, is that there's so much like political or business politics wrapped in, as well as like governmental
with the war conflicts and stuff.
Because like before, I think Gundam has always been like a political type of thing, but like I feel like, at least from my knowledge, I haven't watched all of them, so there could be another one. This feels so much intrinsic to just like the business politics of everything. They show you how much that plays a part into. And then,
we also find out, we're gonna get deep, get into it deeper a little bit later, that Dylan was kind of using, like you mentioned, using the business and the companies and stuff to kind of control the wars and stuff, and to try and bring about peace and things of that nature. Yes.
As we found out, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, especially even with Delling, because we learn so much from Miorine and Suletta's mother that Delling played an even bigger part with Gundams than we thought originally.
Correct. But before we get too far off that, while we're still around the Nika topic, so with Sadik, actually, mentioned how Nika and Sadik actually got a connection and things of that nature, but we don't know. Sadik is another party in this whole plot right now. We don't really know his true objective. He kind of stated that he wants to quote unquote bridge the gap between Earth and space, but still we don't know what his true ultimate goal is. He done kidnapped his father, his adopted father, and he was taking over the company now. He's trying, and in the process, he's also trying to take over
the whole Delling
other companies, because I believe he had the meeting with Pale as well, so he wants to make a partnership with them. He's trying to take Ariel from Suletta now, but that plan failed. How this last episode ended, but our boy Sadik got his own goals that he's trying to handle now, which we don't even know. So we know he's connected to the terrorists, like on Earth and things of that nature, but who knows what other plans that he has for, and just in the story overall, because like I said, we know he's trying to take over the company, the father's business, things of that nature, but he's trying to take over Ariel, but we truly don't know what he's got going on right now.
Yeah, because we don't know where he sits. I feel like every other company or person that serves on the Benneret group has like given their 2 cents or like their opinion on the aspect of Gundams and stuff like that. Like it doesn't seem like a lot of them don't even seem really to be bothered by the conflict of Earth and space, because at the end of the day, they know they're going to make money, right?
Correct.
But like Shadiq has some type of, I feel like his whole thing is mixed. He has like his hand in almost every, I feel like, aspect of it. And it's truly like, where is your end goal? Like, what is your end goal? Is it to make peace Is it to end up on top of everything? Like, do you want to just be the...
Yeah, do you want to flip the hierarchy? Do you want to put the Earthians, over the Spacians in terms of, the power hierarchy? Or do you truly want to, bridge the gap between Earth and space? Like, what is your true end goal here? Right now, he's just a mystery player right now in the plot that we don't know what he's got going on. But
because
of course we'll find out as time goes on.
Yeah, that guy is just a really interesting character, because even before I feel like we got into season 2 and stuff got even like heavier and more political, he seemed like to be a person who's also like had affections for Miori, and was like, I kind of want her, get her out of this whole thing, keep her an innocent party of it, like in that episode where he fought Suletta. But now it's like there's just so much he's doing. It's like he's the one to watch,
Yeah. And then so moving on from there, with the the conflict between the Earth and Spacians picking up after the attack. Of course, the Benedict group wasn't just gonna let that slide, so they went to Earth to look for the people responsible, and they ended up finding them. But we found out that these group of so-called terrorists are just group of refugees just trying to make it for the most part. We don't know their full story, but other than they're refugees, and of course they are attacking the Spacians, but they had to have their reasons. So part of the reasons is they want to be treated fairly, as we've seen throughout one of those being the what's the word I'm looking for, themes. That's one of the things we've been seeing throughout the show, that the Earthians just want to be treated fairly from the Spacians. And so of course that's one of the reasons why they're attacking and things of that nature. But that whole conflict, we got to see it intensify, because we got to see the fight between the Benedict group and the refugees group. Thankfully they ended up winning, but they lost everybody in the process except for one guy.
One guy.
And on top of that, that's where Jewel was being held at after the end of the season. From the end of the season 1, he got captured. Yeah. So he was actually being held by these same refugees. So he got messed up in this whole battle as well.
Yeah, no, it was real interesting, that episode, simply because like you got to learn a lot. I feel like more about the Earthian side of this whole conflict, and how it just were like, these are people trying to make a living, and whatever world the Bennett group has basically created for the Spacians and Earthians, like how does it separate them, where it almost seems like these people are in poverty, are like, it seems like they are impoverished.
Now, but it's ain't no scenes.
Yeah,
they are. They indeed are.
And they're just trying to make it the best way they can, which seems to be like mercenary work, right? Yeah. And Ghoul, they planned on using him as a bargaining chip, but the thing is, we find out that Ghoul's whole company, after he killed his dad, was going down the drain. And in a way, I don't want to say like redemption, because there's still a lot more he kind of has to do.
He's kind of, but that kind of was the start of his redemption.
Yeah, I was about to say this. I just said, right now, I don't know if I call it redemption, because I don't know what it weighs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's fully redeemed yet. I agree, but this, he has started his redemption arc, though.
Because like as we see, he ended up carrying it. Like Ghoul started, the way he started was like, I'm probably just as cocky as any other Spacian kid. I come from this prestigious family. I'm the champion right now. You can't touch me. No one can hold me, really. And
Suletta changed that
changed that real quick. He started to have different thoughts, and like was having obviously like an inner conflict. And then we come here. He's a prisoner of war. His accidentally killed his father. His company's going down the drain. He doesn't know what's going on right now at school. Like he's been through a lot. And
you can they still express that he still, and show that he's still struggling with that, of which he obviously he should be. He killed his own father by mistake. On top of that, so he's obviously he has PTSD from that. He's still seeing visions and the thoughts of the nightmare, having nightmares and things of that nature from those exact moments. And it's just honestly a struggle to see him struggle, really.
Yeah, no, and it's up to the point where like the Earthians who had him captured, or like the guy, like the last guy that was left, even was just like, you need to, if you want to change things or whatever, you need to stop like running from basically your problem, which is so interesting, because it's like, dude, you don't even fucking know me. Like, what the heck? But like it's interesting after seeing him lose so much and then experiencing other people lose, that he's just like, I'm going to I'm reinvigorated to the point where like I'm going to come back and not try and change everything that was like already set. And I'm really interested to see where that'll lead for him, because I didn't expect to care about this character that much at the beginning of this goddamn show, and now he's like one of the most interesting characters.
And he even expressed his feelings to Suletta as well.
Yes, yeah, I love the way that went about, because it just felt like it showed, he displayed one, just how much he's grown, because he could clearly state his feelings without running from him like he did before, and also that how Suletta inspired him to move forward, basically the whole mantra of move forward, gain two.
Yeah.
And how he's going to keep that in mind as he goes and tries to change stuff in his family. Now, I don't know if we want to get into what that like had led to in this episode, but we could circle back.
Well, essentially, it led to where Miran essentially, because at that same time, Suletta basically turned Ghoul down because she was like, I have feelings for somebody else.
I have a precious person too.
During that whole conversation, while the Ghoul and the Suletta was having that conversation, Miran was eavesdropping and listening in, and so she basically learned that Suletta also does have feelings for me as well. And that leads her to do some other stuff, which we're going to get to later on. And so we're going to start from the beginning of what leads her to this, though, and basically the big plot reveal for the season. Quiet Zero is a secret project that we learned about this season, and it is the project, if you will,
the project.
So Suletta's mom, and we're gonna get deeper into it. What we also think about where it all started. So Suletta's mom met with Miran, and she explained to Miran that her mother started up this secret project called Quiet Zero, and how they was gonna use Quiet Zero to create a world without war. She also further explains how they utilize the data storms and things of this nature to control space and make hyperdense networks and other things of the nature. It's all crazy. It's crazy. The Quiet Zero is basically they're trying to control data storms perfectly, basically. And through that, we also learn that one of the major theories that the fans of Witch From Mercury had, that's been circling around, it came true. The theory is real, everybody. It's real. Eri is inside Ariel. Fucking crazy.
The girl that we thought Suletta was not her, in fact, the whole time, but the machine. And as Ace pointed out, like I think the last time we talked about it, that although I believe he was like, the machine is now the girl, but it's so much more than that now, because we now from like the first season, we know that clones were a thing with how I can't remember his name, but old boy from that piloted Fract, and so like
yeah, I can't remember his name right now either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, how he was a clone of another person, and it seems like Suletta is a clone, and from right now, best guess is Suletta is a clone of Eri.
Right now, in the hands person is what they call him.
And how that will develop, God only knows. But it's super. It's just interesting to see like that kid. Like at the beginning, we were like, oh wow, this kid is. It turned out this kid was piloting the Gundam, when in fact that Gundam was like, ooh, child, give me your mind.
It's great. And also, before we go too far, because we did write this down, this is basically a description of what Quiet Zero is, given from Suletta's mother. Is a radical new network concept that can use data storms to control any system using permit links. And also, she also stated that Ariel will be the trigger to basically controlling these data storms and things of that nature. Which we also learned from this. We also got confirmation, more information, where she stated that Ari's biometrics were just completely synced with the data storm. So that also, gives us another indicator on why she mentioned that Ariel will be the trigger for this connection.
And that's really interesting to me. Just in fact, simple fact is like, are we going to be creating a network of people? Are they going to just create more quiet storms, and Eri is going to be able to control all of them together? Like, what is the ultimate goal of Quiet Zero? To get more people in data storms to control networks, therefore controlling like every mobile suit to the point where like we can't have war because these outside beings are the things that will limit it.
We also learned that using data storms, you can also control space itself. With that being said, it opens up multiple realms of possibilities. Of what they can use data storms for.
Yeah, because right now the biggest thing that Prospera explained to me, Orin, is that like the data storm or Eri is the reason why like Suletta can efficiently use gun bits the way she does, and how that has basically revolutionized her, like what they can do in combat and all that. So that's why like there those times where she was able to create gun bits that like shut down other Gundams or other things.
Yeah. So now that we know that Eri is actually inside of Ariel, we can also think about it like this, because we know Suletta does make permanent links to Ariel. She doesn't state it, but we know that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a human to human connection, but like on like you said, data storm level. It's weird. It's odd.
It's basically like the way I think about it. If anyone had ever seen this movie, it's another giant mecha movie, but like Guillermo del Toro made it. It's called Pacific Rim, and the way their system works is 2 pilots have to exist, and they have to create a perfect sync with their minds.
Correct.
So the way I made sense of it is in my head is that like Ariel or Eri is inside the Gundam. Her mind is the
Gundam
suit.
is the machine,
and
yes.
Suletta, being either her copy or whatever, can always create a 100% like success rate link with her original system. Or so it's fucking wild.
Oh, so you think Suletta might be a clone / enhanced human, but made from the DNA of Eri?
Yeah,
instead of like she was born, like Suletta's mom had another like she birthed her and she was just worked on in a lab or something.
Yeah, unless they're lying about how old Suletta is, I don't know if she'd technically be 13, because she would have had to have the kid like right after.
Well, Suletta isn't 13 though.
Is she?
She's like 16, 17-ish.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like she was entering high school age, because that's how.
If I'm not mistaken, she's like 16, 17-ish.
But
because Miran's about to turn 17.
Okay, well, if that is the case, then I would have to assume that she would have been a clone of Eri, because of her age wouldn't line up. Because if they had her like right after,
I mean, well, not she wouldn't necessarily have to have her right after that, because that event happened 21 years ago. So there's still time to have her.
Oh, I guess that's true. But who would be the dad? Because her dad's dead.
We don't know who the dad is. But even if she is a regular human who was just worked on in a lab or something, we don't know.
Because she could be, I guess, in a way, she could have just been a person, and they injected Aries DNA or something into her to make her. To make her to like create...
Or not necessarily, because if she's truly Aries' sister, they will already have the same DNA. If she was, birthed by the same, if she was truly birthed by her mother.
Well, I was thinking of like if they were trying to create like someone so close to Aries that to create.
I mean, but once again, they're
sisters, no, I mean, if they are sisters, then I guess that wouldn't be the case. I don't know. It's so interesting, because to me, I think my head canon is clone.
So I get what you're saying. You're saying more like a 1-to-1 type connection.
Yeah, like almost like if she had a perfectly.
But I was saying, I don't know if you necessarily need that as well, because they would technically still have the same DNA because they're sisters. Now, it wouldn't be like you said a 1-to-1, because they're not the same person, but they will share some of the same stuff though. Character,
No, I don't know. It's crazy regardless. Suletta,
it's wild.
Suletta's origins is something I've become even more interested in after we found out that she wasn't actually Eri, and Eri was the machine. So. Yeah, it's crazy. And besides that, it's just Prospera herself. Like after this conversation with Miran and stuff like that, Prospera is like, oh, so you're gonna work if you don't want these things to happen, if you don't want Suletta to fight anymore, help me bring back Quiet Zero, help me get revenge on your dad, help me do all this other shit. And we see Miran agrees to these things, but also like when she returns, we find out that Miran and Suletta are able to like. They still have feelings for each other. They're able to like basically kind of patch up the whole discrepancy of like Suletta killing somebody to protect her and her father, but then it creates another like rift between them, because Miorin is like, if your mother, you did these things because your mother said so. If your
Correct.
mother told you to do X, Y, Z, would you do them? And Suletta,
Correct.
without hesitation, was like, I mean,
Yeah, pretty
ultimately,
much.
yeah. Like, if she asked me to kill more people with Ariel, I'd do it. If she asked me to,
When she said that, my eyes just got wide. I was like,
Oh.
what the fuck?
The
I was like, there's no way. There's just no way.
I don't remember if one of the questions was like, if your mother told you to leave me if you do it or something like that. I don't remember if that's the case. Regardless, though, when she had asked that question, the killing one, the creators did such a good like break in time of her answering, where I was like, almost like, wow. She was like, I mean.
It was looking like she was thinking about it.
Yeah, it looked like she was considering.
She was thinking
like,
about it, and she had to think about it. She was like, well, yeah.
But the thing, I was not expecting just a straight. Yeah, I was expecting something like a little more explained. But she was just like, I mean, for sure. Like, that's why
my mother is the reason why I'm here. Ultimately, my mother is always right. So yes, I will listen to her. And like once she said that, you just realize how much of a grasp her mother has on her.
Yes, and that was
like, damn.
And something I really loved about that, that shows just how much Miorin cares about Suletta, is that she got angry, but not at Suletta. She got angry at like the situation.
Her mother, she got mad, at her overall situation and her mother, because right after that, she stormed directly back to Suletta's mother. It was like, hey, we finna cut all this out. Leave my girl alone.
And she
finna cut all this out.
And Prospera, being the fucking mastermind she is, she was like, "Oh, you wanted to stop? I ain't got nothing to do with me. Take Ariel away from her. You do that, she can't. She
can't fight anymore.
She can't fight anymore. I can't. I'll have no use for her," which is so fucked up to say.
Which is even more fucked up to say about your own. Which also makes me think: is this truly your child, or is it just like, did you just take a piece of your DNA and grow in a lab somewhere?
That's what I'm saying. Like, her callousness towards her is what makes me think so much that this has to be a clone.
Or are you just so hurt?
Yeah, or that
by the event from 21 years ago that you're just willing to put your daughter through these, situations and things of that nature.
I was like, this callousness is not this. I feel like could not be towards a truly born baby, but like a clone. But it's how I rationalize it. But also, there's been enough shows where I've seen like where people were so.
She has been through enough grief.
Yeah,
enough harm and enough hate, enough pain. She's been through a lot.
And to the point where she'd be able to use where I fully believe she'd be able to use a kid as a weapon, as a tool to.
Well, we know she put her own fucking daughter into the data storm.
Well, that was, I don't know if that was on purpose, because.
She also we based don't know it was on purpose.
I was like, because based on the prologue,
how her child's body couldn't handle the permalinks and stuff like that, and the effects of space. So we don't know if it was like, did she put her into data storm to save her life? We don't know. She didn't fully go into it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, because I was about to say, if I just go based on the prologue, them running her when Ariel connected with Eri at the end. I don't know if that was like her first. If that was the creation of the data storm.
While we're right here, let me go ahead and ask the questions, because this was one of our questions. So, how do we ultimately feel about her mom now? Like, she's gone. We've seen the pain firsthand that her mother has gone through from the prologue. We've seen the pain firsthand. We know, the death and all that. We know she had to put her daughter Eri into the data storm, into Ariel, whether it was to save her life or by her own ambitions to get vengeance. We don't know yet, but we know that was another thing she had to do. We also now know that whether she physically birthed Suletta or whether she made Suletta in the lab, I'm gonna say she is her child one way or another. I'm not gonna say she's not. So one way or another, she is Suletta's mom. And she's forcing her to basically fight for Quad Zero as well, but she don't really know it. But she's using Suletta to basically gain and lead her advances in Quad Zero. We learned that throughout the season as well. Is it justified?
I don't know if I could answer the question as if it's justified, because what Delling did was some hoe shit.
It was,
especially now with the fact of like considering how he was working on Quiet Zero, he could have been a part of Gundam Inc. when it first initially started, and those could have been
also
his.
Also, before you go further, one of our theories, we just want to let the council know, one of our theories was that since we do know that Dylan was working with Quad Zero, and Suletta's not Suletta's, Miran's mom was the one who actually started up Quad Zero, was that maybe at some point after Miran's mother died, he got fed up with Quad Zero when he tried to basically just erase it all the way, and that's why he went and attacked the outpost 21 years ago. And we believe that at the time where they was actually working there, her mom was actually working on Quad Zero at that facility.
Yeah, possibly before. So like, to expand upon that, it's more of the way I think the events happened is probably like her Miran's mother probably tested what would have been the first data storm or inception of data storms, lost her life to it. Being a single father, losing the love of his life, became fed up, like Ace said, and then decided to just completely scrap it. And that involved killing all of those people at the facility, and Prospera being the only one left. And in regard to that, I just my opinions on Prospera is it's very complicated because I feel for her. Like she literally lost her husband a little while after lost her child. Had to brave the wilderness of space, make it to Mercury. I don't know if she established a company there or if there was already one there and she took it over. Not sure how all that happened, but regardless, she had to make it out, and all she really had was a Gundam and immense amounts of grief because she not only lost her husband and her child, the people of that facility, she even said, were like a family to her. Like, the leader of Gundam Inc. was her mentor, someone that probably played a significant role in her life. And I can't be mad at her trying to get her get back, but at the same time, this is truly an evil mastermind of a person. Like
it is. And then also I'm sorry, but when you go a little bit too far, another aspect of the theory was that we know that Suletta's mom wants to get vengeance on Dylan because she stated that herself, but she also stated that Dylan was working on her, was working on Quad Zero with her. So was that during, was like we said, we don't know if this was necessarily before or after the events of the the murders and stuff that happened 21 years ago at that facility. We really don't know. So it adds another mystery in. Well, did Dylan really give up on Quad Zero? Was he really done working on it, or was he still actually working on it? We don't know. Hell, Suletta's mom could be flying for all we fucking know.
I don't think she's lying. I think, especially just like with how things have progressed for the new Gundam Inc. and how Miorin is now in charge of it and stuff like that, and how Dylan ultimately gave his support at the function for her daughter owning this company that he helped destroy the first iteration of. I think what might have happened is this is a man who's lived long enough with his sin and also loves his daughter enough to recognize that maybe trying to atone for his sin. Yeah, maybe his reaction or maybe his action of what he did to the first Gundam Inc. What he realized was overzealous, was too much.
Or maybe what he thought is, he knew his wife, his previous wife, was working on with gun bits and things of that nature with the gun format, and then when he saw his daughter started working with it, maybe he saw a little bit of his wife inside of his daughter. That's what, what, maybe you can continue her legacy, something like that.
Yeah, that's where I was getting to. I was like, maybe this man realized he did too much, and also that his daughter is even trying to perfect this thing that him and his wife worked on. Maybe he overstepped. Maybe this is how he atones, right? Is by letting his daughter perfect what he and his wife could not. But ultimately, Prospera doesn't care about that. Ultimately, Prospera cares about getting her lick back, which, again, I can't fault her for. But also,
not at all. Cannot.
Like I know this is an evil woman, but her origin.
What define evil? Because I
don't know. Using
evil,
a child,
she might have evil intentions, but I don't necessarily say her intentions are necessarily evil though.
Well, I'm saying, well, she is on some mastermind level shit. Like,
well, yes, she is. I will agree with you on that.
Because every time she is presented with an opportunity, like, or quote unquote, if she gets a roadblock, she always seems to be able to pivot in a way of her favor.
Yeah.
You want to take my Gundam and my daughter out of the thing because you love her? Perfect. I love that for you. Here's how you do it. And also, you're going to become president of this company for me and bring my research back to life. That is number one evil, like, villain type of shit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, she does not care who she has to use. She's going to get her lick back. And that is villain level shit. If she do I think she's evil? Not necessarily. I think she is a woman hurt. But the thing is, most villains or
hurt people.
Yeah, I was about to say, sorry, not to, like, again, I'll use it. Yeah, use another anime as an example. Pain is a prime example of a hurt person who hurt people. Like, because technically he was, his ultimate goal the Akatsuki's ultimate goal was to, like, resurrect the Ten Tails and activate Infinite Tsukuyomi to create a world without war and peace. Yeah, without pain, without war, ultimate peace. But technically, it was going to take away people's free will. Prospera is kind of like, I don't know if Quiet Zero is on the same thing where it's like no one can fight, therefore there will always be peace. It almost sounds the exact same way. Like, yeah. This is technically villain level shit.
Yeah, also, because I don't know if we stated before, but one of the main goals of Quiet Zero is to, quote unquote, attain a world without war and peace.
Yeah, and she hasn't explained what that means, like how
what that entails, yeah, and how she's actually going to achieve that.
And so, therefore, villainry. Like, but I don't. But what's so odd, even though knowing this, I don't view her as evil. Like, if someone were to ask, like, you right now asking me, how do I feel about her? I'm very down the middle. I am. Like, personally, it's very down the middle because, like, her villainy is against another villain group. The Bennett group is not good.
They're not necessarily. Yeah.
And her, and I don't know if she's, like, the lesser of two evils, basically, right now. Like, it doesn't seem like we have good options, honestly. I like Shadiq. I don't know what he entails to do either.
Yeah, because he's on God knows what right now.
And these are the people.
There's also, like you mentioned, just the people, all different companies within the Bennett group. We're already seeing that they also have their own little agendas as well. Like, for instance, the Pale Group, one of their main agendas is they want to get into the whole Gundam format business and things of that nature. And
they seem to only care about it in terms of profit. They don't care.
Correct.
They don't care what it is.
They don't care what type of damage or wars it may cause. They just trying to make profit.
Yes, and because they're like, oh, this is the best mobile suit. We have to have our hands on it. Like, that is it. That is as far as they go, and that can't be good, right? Like, so
because think about it. What if they succeed in achieving and figuring out how to make the gun format work without killing people and things of that nature, or
exactly,
or maybe they make more enhanced humans so they can actually handle the gun format, and now we can.
And they already sacrificed the boy for losing.
They did, and now we can what I'm saying is create Gundams on a massive scale. You put Gundams out there on a massive scale in this universe, there's no telling what would happen.
And we already know that they don't gel well with everybody. Two people, like, well, technically the first guy they killed, but, like, one, we got to see the girl who wanted Suletta to be regarded as her big sister. She just straight up died from establishing too many permit links with her Gundam. I forget the Pale Group, is that what it was called?
Yes.
I don't think they'd care. I really don't think they'd care. I would be like, we made the ultimate Gundam. It's killing people. Who gives a fuck? Is it making us money? All right then. Like, let's move on. That's not good. I don't know what Shadiq's whole thing is, and, like, the Bennett group itself is at the end of the day just a business group. Their whole thing is profit. At least I know with Prospera, she's trying to establish some type of peace, and take down a man who I don't think anybody's questioning, did extremely evil shit.
Yeah.
So
Because that was just one, bad thing we know Dylan did. Who knows what other shit he's done throughout his time as president.
The one thing we know he was responsible for is insanely evil. Insanely evil. Because he ain't going there and be like, kill the lady that got the gun arm formula in her head.
Yeah, he said wipe them all out.
All of them. Every single one.
Yeah.
Dead. The women, the children, the men.
Yeah, women and children. Yeah, every single last one is crazy. Crazy. Even now, that's still one of the best intros to anime ever. Like, hands down. That's a 10 out of 10 still.
and just how, like, even now that the first episode is relevant, and
yes.
there are very few animes where I know where like what happens in the first episode permeates throughout the whole damn show.
One Piece.
He said, "You see the headband? Look at it."
Oh man, but yes, I'm really interested to see where Suletta moms go and how she has a hand in the plot moving forward. Because we know she has a major hand in it with Quiet Zero, and that's a major factor in the plot moving forward. But I really want to see what her true goal with Quiet Zero is, because especially the fact how she mentioned she wants to free Eri. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Is she, because like we talked about it a little off camera. I was like, to me, it almost sounds like she wants Eri to be in almost like Gundam becomes mass produced. She wants Eri to be in all of them to the point where she can control everything. Yeah. Like, is that how we end up with Peace? Eri controlling every mobile suit or every piece of technology? Because to me that sounds like a nightmare. So yeah, I was about to say, to me that sounds like a nightmare. She already almost killed. She told.
You know what? That almost reminds me about What was it? Tokyo, not Tokyo Ghoul. We actually Tokyo 24th Ward.
Okay.
Remember that how in that show they use old girls' minds to be the system, the security system, and she was basically the holder of peace. How I just said it. You kind of can make that connection as well, but we're not going to go too deep into that as well. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. No,
man. But also I forgot to also mention this. On top of that, how you mentioned how she wants Eri to be everywhere. There was a scene where the prince tried to go and see Ariel, and he tried to make his permalink with Ariel, and through that he actually got to meet Eri.
And she told him, but you probably didn't hear me because it was in the middle of you talking. Eri told him, "Boy, if you don't get the fuck, kill yourself." Like.
But during that meeting though, we got to see multiple Aries. Like she either cloned herself or like multiple instances of herself was created when she got inputted into the data storm. Like it's not just one of her. It's like she exists on a whole different realm, scale.
Yeah. So it's been crazy because for instance, I think when that happened, I looked at like the subreddit for Witch of Mercury. And they were having a very interesting conversation because they were like, I wonder if all those Aries were like Prospera's attempts to like clone her and have like a stable area and then try and connect to see if that would survive the data storm, if this one would survive the data storm, like or if it was just, or Eri herself just made different versions of herself in the data storm.
Because once again, we found out that you can use data storms to control space itself. So did she use data storms to quote unquote, like you said, kind of copy Eri and make multiple versions of her once she was uploaded into the data storm? It's I don't know. It's wild.
It's so much. It's just so many things. It's so. Like there's so much shit that could be going on here, but like the backdrop of it is like the small parts connect to such bigger parts that just make it so fucking good. Like this show is crazy.
But also now, so we can keep going because we mentioned how this was the start of Mia Ryan basically wanted to quote unquote protect Suletta. So we figure out that once Mia Ryan hears, she really understands that Suletta's mom has this whole tight grasp on her, and she also basically she heard her confession, which she did to Ghoul, that she has feelings for another person, basically, which would be her. Who else would it be? So she's like, okay, you know what? I gotta protect her. She goes back to her mom, says, you know what? I'm gonna take over Choir Zero. We're gonna do this. I'll become next president. Which after she mentioned it, she was like, okay, I'll do it. Yes, I agree. So now she puts up this whole plan together to get Mia Ryan into one last duel. Very poetic. Ghoul versus Suletta. Just like episode 1. He reclaimed his throne, his title of holder back from from Suletta, because Mia Ryan ultimately ended up cheating to rig the duel, and she goes and tells her that directly to Suletta's face. And then says goodbye.
Gives her charm back. The first gift I believe Suletta ever bought her. The little.
So you have feelings for this girl. She has feelings for you, but you think the way to protect her is to just not only, get her out of this conflict with Gundam. So, okay, I agree with that part, but to completely push her away, though.
True. I don't know the word. There's a word for what she did. I feel like emaciate. She destroyed her. She destroyed that little girl. I still don't know how I feel about it, because I understand what Miorin was trying to do was to create as much distance
between her and her mother.
Yeah, from Suletta and her mom, because the thing is, even say she had just let her lose and they stayed together, Miorin is now technically Prospera's puppet in place of Suletta. Mm-hmm. And Miorin wants to get Suletta far away from Prospera as possible, as we can tell. But to do it like that, I didn't cry, but man, I was like, man, she about to make me shed a thug tear here. Suletta looked like she was like that. You could see the way they animated was so well, because you could see that killed her. You could tell, and it was so emotionally. The fight itself was so emotionally charged. Guel was he wanted to do this because he felt that he knew this was a way not only probably to help Miorin, but to help his company, help his family,
because as well as help Suletta, because Miorin did tell Ghoul about the grasp that her mother had on her.
Yeah, but Ghoul, during the time of them fighting, he was going through his PSD episodes, and it was oh my god, everything about that, the last, I want to say the last half of this episode, the newest episode 17, was just so emotionally charged.
It basically just returns the series to a 180.
Yes,
flips it on the 180.
Because she's totally different. Everybody's different from, I didn't say that, but everybody's back to square one.
Everybody has grown some way or some form from episode 1.
True, but the event that just happened just put everybody back to square one. Miorin is now still betrothed to Ghoul. Ghoul is the champion. Suletta basically is a nobody now, technically, if you want to say in the eyes and stuff. She lost. She doesn't have a Gundam. She's a piloting student. We don't know how Earth House, the people she call friends, how they're gonna react to this whole thing, because they are technically Gundam Inc., but they don't have the Gundam anymore because Jetark took it. It's flipped on its head, and it's pushed people back.
Well, technically they still have it, because we know that Mia Ryan and Ghoul, they're working together, so we know it's not he's betraying.
But I'm saying they on the surface.
But on the surface level, yes,
it doesn't look
Inc. doesn't have area anymore. So which was a big part of their company as a whole. So what, like you said, what does this mean for Gundam Inc. as a whole now? Because Mia Ryan's going to become the president of the Bennett Group. So does that mean she's not going to give a fuck about Gundam Inc. anymore?
Or the thing I was saying is that maybe she might absorb Gundam Inc. into Jetark, or
vice versa,
or vice versa. One of the two, Jetark, Ghoul and her work at a thing where Gundam becomes Jetark Inc. and then basically that's how they solve it. But also at the same time, I don't know if Miorin will want to do that, because ultimately she knows Prospera will still have some if Suletta stays.
Yeah.
So because if Suletta stays in Gundam Rink, that just creates that still just permeates the problem. You didn't solve anything. You just delayed
Well, not necessarily because yes, it will because her mother's still quote unquote technically working with Gundam Rink to a certain extent. So
now you didn't solve the issue. You just delayed it, right? Like it's. I don't know. I like in terms of everything. I don't know where the fuck we end from here. Like this changed so much in terms of just like everybody's standpoint. Like it's almost impossible to figure out like how Miori might flip this situation.
Yeah. Also, I also want to mention because we didn't bet to how much this also hurt. Suletta. She was also mentioning and talking about how they were gonna get all their their different wedding dresses. How beautiful they was stuff they was gonna look.
Again, thug tears. Thug tears.
She was really looking forward, to the wedding and everything. It's just. Oh, it's crazy. I'm really just my mind is blown. It's just how Mia Ryan handled the whole situation. Really, the fact that she went to Suletta and was like, "Yeah, it was me. I wanted you to lose." You're even stated now. You're no longer. You're no more of use to me. Like what the fuck are you doing, Mia?
Exactly. It's so fucked up because I feel that way, but also at the same time I know why she's doing it.
I know why you're doing it, but this is the conclusion you came to?
Is this what you really want to do? Like because I was like, there might not be granted, we'll just have to see how the show does, but I was like in my head, I'm like, there's no guarantee that
this is hard to come back for something like
this. Yeah, I was like, I don't know how the fuck you gonna fix this. I really don't. I was like, I don't know how Miori is going to fix it because ultimately there has to be some way that she's thinking that how she can flip this because and Miori is too smart to be like, I'm just gonna remain Prospera's puppet and then not be with the person she clearly loves. So like I'm really interested to see where the fuck where this is going, Miori. I truly am now because you have set up a board that is so chaotic.
Yeah. But my question is now, can they truly finish Quiet Zero without Suletta?
That is a good question. I don't know.
Because as her mother already stated, Ariel is the key. But as we already know, Suletta is also the key to Ariel.
Mm-hmm. The only one that Suletta seems to be the only one that Ariel will truly like fully work for. Like people
fully work with and establish a link with.
Mm-hmm. Like because people have piloted Ariel before. Like there was 2 instances where it didn't end up bad, but they weren't doing it on Suletta's level of piloting. So like. What will I just want to know, like you said, can that even be truly the case? Can they do this without Suletta? Only time will tell, I think. Like, cause
only time will tell.
It's crazy right now.
And then I'm looking at the docket here that we got for today. Is one more thing I want to touch upon before I forget about it is another unknown party that's involved. I can't remember their names right now, but you remember the group. The lady who's basically always helping me around,
trying to make it to Earth and stuff like that.
Yeah, trying to make it a start from stuff like that. We don't know what her true goal is in this plan as well as.
Yeah.
Right now, all we know is that she wants to assist me around in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, she has history with the whole Gundam group. Jesus Christ!
It's so many moving plots and moving gears and moving pieces from multiple different people. On top of that, not just from one person, from multiple different people that we're seeing. Like it's like on my hand, we can count like 4 different people that we know of that have different agendas to move the plot forward.
Mm-hmm. And each of them, their machinations are unknown. What is the true end goal here? We get like bits and pieces all the time. Such a good fucking mystery.
It's crazy. It's wild. Like the Witch From Mercury has been a wild ride, but I've been enjoying every step of the way.
Every step. This is what I tell people: you can't let mechs throw you off from something if you don't like mechs.
And then the animation from season 2 has been going crazy. Like these mech fights have been so crisp and clean.
Yeah, honestly, it's been really good. I mean, it had great animation to begin with, but like you said, it feels
they
like
already had great animation to begin with. But I'm just saying, we got to see more fights this season, and they just been they're really crisp and clean.
Yeah, not too much else we can say truly about this until like it is. It's just man.
Yeah, so I think we touched up on all the points we had here listed out on our docket for today. But before we rate it, is there anything else that you wanted to really touch upon that we may have missed?
I think we exhausted everything, honestly, that I could think of.
Okay.
It's this show, man. Fuck.
Okay, yeah, like I said, we hit up all the points on our docket. I just want to make sure there was nothing else that you may have thought of.
No, thank you.
That you wanted to hit up on.
No, we touched it. We touched it. I guess it. Man.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and rate this. And once again, it's not a full season rating, so this is just episodes 13 through 17 that we're gonna rate, and we're gonna combine them all together for one rating. And it's not. I'm gonna give it like an 8.5.
Okay, for me, this may be just a bit biased. It's probably a 9, but I could be talked down to like an 8.
Like, but I said, it's not just 8. It's like an 8.5 to a 9 for me. Like, they started off so strong with the beginning of the season. Like the terrorists enrolling in the school, like that alone was such a shock factor. It was like, oh, we're not gonna take time to to reflect on this at all. Like, we're hopping straight into this, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
And then to one of them be dead in 2 episodes later.
Yes.
Like, this shit is a fucking rocket, and it's not slowing down.
It's not slowing down. Then we got the major, plot reveal with Quad Zero, and then the whole theory that everybody been, theorizing on was actually true is fucking wild in itself. Dylan is still in a coma. Will he survive his coma? One of the questions that I did have, and I'm looking at it now, I forgot to mention it. Will somebody try to kill this man while he's still in his coma? We know old girl wants her revenge. Will she wait till he get out this coma to get her revenge? Will she try and assassinate this man?
I personally think Prospera's plan is bigger than just Dylan dying.
I mean, of course it's bigger than just Dylan, but he's
a part of it. Plan. Yes. Oh no. I mean, as she said to Miori, do you hear them screaming?
Do you hear the sound of their voice?
It sounds like, do you hear them
for vengeance?
Begging for vengeance.
He's a part of that vengeance. So one way or another, he might not be, like you said, the end goal, but he's a part of that damn goal.
That line, so fucking hard.
So it's just like, are you gonna wait for we gonna wait for this man to wake up, or you gonna try and kill this man while he's still in this coma? Like, what's going on with that? And the ending right now, just the mid-season plot twist with Miran, basically pushing, just throwing, not even pushing Suletta to the side, basically throwing her to the side at this point.
I don't know.
It is a time. If you have not yet started watching Gundam, Witch from Mercury, if you ain't picked it up yet, and if you're listening to us, this is your PSA to start it. It is a good show.
We've talked so much of it, like technically spoiled it. I personally though, I feel like even if you watch this, even like and you didn't know shit about it, if you enjoyed the discussion, I would still recommend you watch it yourself, because a show like this is kind of like any of the other animes where there's a psychological or big political elements. Like, you yourself might come up with your own things. You might realize something that we miss, and if you have and you're watching, like if you're watching the show and there's a theory that you didn't hear us state that you might have, please let us know. I love hearing about other people, like what other people think. Other people's
theories, yes, because then I can take their theories and see what from it I can apply to my own. And it's crazy. I love it.
What other stuff you can realize, because it's just that's the beauty of shit like this. A show like that has so many moving parts and are executing them beautifully. Where it's like, even if you predict something, there's like, oh, you might have guessed this, but it's a lot worse than you thought.
than you thought, yes. like for instance, just we guessed Avery was a part of Ariel, but it's a lot worse than what we thought.
There's so much more to it than one could have guessed. Like, hats off to the show. That's why I think I have to give it a 9. It's just so beautifully executed and amazingly animated. It's crazy, man. It's correct. This is a standout.
I agree. But yeah, so that is our rating. Please, guys, let us know. Once again, let us know what theories you also have for the show down below in the comments and what you guys thought about this shows as well. We was gonna do Dr. Stone today, but honestly, guys, Dr. Stone was not touching Witch from Mercury, so we just decided to throw that out from this episode. But before we go today, McMillian, would you like to give out our weekly recommendation?
Yes. So this one's it's not old. I want to say it came out probably like sometime within the 2010s, so like it's not too old, but I feel like it flew under the radar. So there's this really great anime about vampires called Seraph of the End. It is a huge action fantasy type show. Only has one season, unfortunately, but the manga is still ongoing. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those things that, man, I really want to watch anime, but I'm not really feeling like continuing any of the shows I got. I'm caught up. Let me see if there's something I could just like throw on real quick. And I decided I was like, this looks interesting. The description was cool. I was like, I'm not really a big vampire fan, but the way they do it in this show, amazing. I really do recommend it. And if you enjoy the show, check out the manga. It's because it's continuing.
Okay, I might have to check that one out. I definitely seen that one, on Crunchyroll and stuff, and Funimation as well, while I'm just scrolling and stuff like that, but I never decided to click play on it, so I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, I watched it in dub, and I will say the dub is decently good. Like it's not it's not bad at all in my opinion. So I would definitely check if you even want to watch it just in dub. I feel like you'll have a good time.
Okay. Well, all right, everybody. Once again, this week's weekly recommendation brought to you via McMillian, Seraph of the End. Go check it out if you have not. And well, I don't think I have anything else to say, my friend. So go ahead and take us on out here.
All right, guys. As always, appreciate you for watching and / listening. If you want to stay at all things about the council, please consider giving us a follow on our social media at Gurren Otaku on Twitter and at Gurren Otaku Council on everything else. For my audio only listeners, appreciate you. Please consider following the podcast as well as sharing it with your friends. It'll help us grow and help you introduce them to some really good content, in my opinion. As well as for my video watchers, like, comment, and subscribe. As always, we really do appreciate any support. And also, if you, like I said, feel free to share your own theories on this episode about Witch of Mercury. Me and Ace would love to see them.
Yes.
As always, everyone, stay safe out there. Continue to enjoy anime. This is Gurren Otaku Council saying meeting adjourned. Peace, everybody.